The MLB offseason is coming to a close, and I want to go through all 30 MLB teams and rank them to see where I think they'll finish in 2026 before the season starts. And it is even before spring training currently. So this should be fun. Lots of players were on the move this offseason. So probably should first catch up and go through these teams. I have this tier list pulled up. I also have Fangraphs pulled up so we can go through all the teams and kind of get used to the new roster. So I'm over on Fangraphs looking at the Athletics first. We'll go American League first and then National League. Last year, Athletics 76 wins. They have a super young roster. Guys like Nick Kurtz, Tyler Soderstrom, Brent Rooker, and then they added Jeff McNeil in the offseason. I think they have put together a pretty good roster here. Their offense should score a bunch of runs. It's probably going to come down to whether the pitching will be up to par. You can see their projected top 5 starters. Luis Severino and Jeffrey Springs have some upside, but all their pitchers in the 4s in ERA, Ks per 9 are not too great either. So I think this pitching staff could definitely have some holes. But yeah, I think their lineup should play pretty well, especially in that ballpark. And I think they could be right around or better than 76 wins in 2026. So if we go over here, I think I still have to put them in the 70 to 80 win column just because I don't know if they'll be able to push for 80 plus wins. They might get close, but I think their pitching is really going to let them down. If they make some moves at the deadline, possibly, I think they could improve that. But where the roster sits now, I think they would not be able to reach over 80 wins. All right, moving on to the Baltimore Orioles, who did make a big offseason move in signing Pete Alonso. Orioles really, really struggled last year, 75 and 87, but picked up Pete Alonso in free agency, also traded for Taylor Ward. So that's 2 nice pieces to add to their offense. Also, Adley Rutschman had a really down season in 2025. I think he could bounce back in a big way. And then they still have a bunch of youth. So Jackson Holliday, Gunnar Henderson, Samuel Basayo could all contribute this season in a big way. So I think their lineup set up pretty nice in their division. Their pitching also has some room to improve in 2026. I think Kyle Bradish could be really, really good if he stays healthy. Trevor Rogers was pretty good down the stretch last year as well. I'm not really sure what we're getting from Shane Baz or Dean Kramer or Zach Eflin. They could pitch decent, but another pitching staff that's very average, I'd say. But lineup should score a bunch of runs. They should hit for power, and they should be able to clear 75 wins. I think they should be well over 75 in 2026. Now, so I think I'll have the Orioles definitely here. I don't really see them getting past 87 wins. I think 80 to 87 wins is a good spot for the Baltimore Orioles where they sit as of right now. I think Alonso's going to be a huge impact in their lineup. He's going to hit 4 right behind probably Gunnar Henderson. If Adley Rutschman bounces back, I think this lineup is much better than 2025. All right, moving on to the Red Sox. Now, the Red Sox are a fun lineup, have some young pieces, but also have some like aging veterans. Trevor Story, Roman Anthony could be a huge breakout in 2026. I can definitely see that happening. Jaren Duran has been pretty solid the past 2 seasons, a bunch of speed. And they did pick up Wilson Contreras in a trade with St. Louis. I believe he's going to play first base. I think he's done catching. So they're top, I'd say top 5 of their lineup is pretty solid in Anthony, Story, Duran, Contreras, and Abreu. There's some pop there, some speed, and definitely some youth. So I do like that. Bottom 4 in their lineup could definitely be improved. I'm not sure if they have anyone that's pushing for a spot. See if they have like any prospects. Yeah, I'm not really sure about their current prospect situation. This team definitely does, though, have the best pitching staff we've seen so far. Garrett Crochet, Ranger Suarez, who they picked up in the offseason via free agency, and then Sonny Gray via trade. Those top 3 guys are pretty great. Crochet and Suarez are elite pitchers. Gray is getting older. I'm not sure what to expect. I wouldn't expect anything crazy, but he's still a solid option. And then Brian Bayo also has potential. I'm trying to see. Okay, so Carter Crawford's hurt. He should be back and available. I could see him sliding into their pitching rotation as well. So their pitching rotations is pretty good. Crochet is going to be in line for a potential AL Cy Young in 2026, just like he was last year. So this team can definitely win some games. Their lineup, I feel like, falls off after like the 5 spot, but 189 games last year, went 89-73. I feel like they definitely will win 80 plus. Do they get to 87 is the question. And it's also a tough division. Orioles, who we just talked about, Yankees, Blue Jays are going to probably both have 90 wins, or at least have the potential for 90 wins. The best case is they do get to, like, best case for me is they win 90 games. I think if Roman Anthony has a really great season, Jaren Duran stays healthy, has a good season, Wilson Contreras is a good piece, that definitely helps. And then Crochet, Suarez as well. So I can see like 85 wins, 85 to 90. I'm gonna be safe and put them in the 80 to 87 before the season starts. Alrighty, moving on to the White Sox, who actually made some moves this offseason. Top of the order, Kyle Teal is young, has some potential. Same with this Chase Mydroth, second baseman. And Montgomery hit a bunch of homers last year. I'm not really sure if we can see stats on here, but he was like power bust last year, and he played pretty well. So I like Montgomery in this spot. And then they added Austin Hayes recently via free agency. Also added Murakami from, I believe, the NPB league in Japan. So he's going to play first base for them, and not really sure what to expect, and I'm kind of surprised he signed with the White Sox, but good for them in finding getting a guy to come from Japan over to a struggling team. Pitching rotation, another team with a rough starting pitching rotation. There's potential with Shane Smith. Outside of that, I don't really see any of these guys being that good. All projected in 2026 to have an ERA over 4. So that's never great. Did add a couple guys to their bullpen through free agency. Sir Anthony Dominguez, who is going to close for them per their manager, I believe. And then also Jordan Hicks via trade with Boston. So he didn't really pitch well last year. He's projected on Fangraphs for a 4.2, but Sir Anthony is projected for 3.9, so that should help their bullpen a little bit. I can see them bouncing back from 60 wins, which they had last year. That shouldn't happen again. Let's see. I still think they're going to be probably in 70 or less. I just don't think they've done enough. They added a couple pieces, but I could see them pushing to anywhere from 65 to 68 wins. But they're not going to beat any of these teams in their division. Even the Twins, who are really bad. I still think the Twins are probably better than the White Sox in 2026. Alrighty. Let's go to Cleveland. Cleveland. They did bring back Jose Ramirez, extended him for a while, which is awesome for Cleveland. Other than that, didn't really do much in free agency. They didn't bring anyone in, I don't believe. They still have Steven Kwan, Jose Ramirez, Kyle Manzardo. Chase DeLauder was a first-round draft pick in 2022 who could, if he needs to stay healthy, but he's a great bat. So I can see if that works out, that's definitely a boost to the lineup. This is pretty much the same lineup, though, they had in 2025. And then pitching is relatively the same as well. They did lose Emmanuel Clase to... He's basically kicked out of baseball for betting. So he's gone, which is a huge loss to their bullpen. But I think Cade Smith could come in and basically do the same as Class A or close to it. He's projected for a 2.85 ERA, and I think he's going to be their closer, and he should be a good closer for Cleveland. And then up top for their starting pitching, Gavin Williams, Tanner Bybee have potential projected for in the 3s for ERA, but pitching's a little weak on this Cleveland team. But I think they can still get back to close to 88 wins that they had last year. Probably a little bit of regression for this team, I think. I'd probably put them here in the 80 to 87 win total. I don't think they'll get back to 88 wins. Detroit. So in the same division, or same division, AL Central. Let's see. I don't think they made any huge moves either in the offseason. Not really. They did bring in Kenley Jansen, who traded for Kyle Finnegan as well from Washington. So those Kenley Jansen and Kyle Finnegan can definitely bolster the bullpen, and their pitching rotation should still be pretty good. Skubal's going to be elite at the top. He should be in contention for anywhere from 15 to 18 wins on this Tigers team, and then Flaherty, Mize, Olsen are all pretty solid options as well. And the lineup is okay. Spencer Torkelson hit 30 homers, stayed healthy and hit 30 homers. Riley Green's pretty good. Carpenter's also a great hitter. He just sits against lefties sometimes, which kind of sucks. But this is a pretty good roster. I think the Tigers can get right back to around 87 wins. I'm gonna put, I can definitely see the Tigers being a team that makes some moves at the trade deadline and gets close to 90 wins. So I'm actually gonna put them here 87 to 95. I think Detroit jumps Cleveland in this division for the division title. All right, going to the Houston Astros, who honestly probably are going in the other direction. I think they're just not the same Houston Astros team as previous years. They have a bunch of older players here. Altuve's getting up there in age. Correa up there in age. Christian Walker as well. Jordan can never stay on the field either, so he's been a problem for years. If he can stay healthy, they're going to be good, but I wouldn't buy him staying healthy though. And then pitching rotation is pretty good. That is held. Hunter Brown is a solid number one option for them, and they do have a pretty good bullpen as well. Josh Hader, who should close games for them. I could see them getting close to what they did last year, probably somewhere in the 80-ish win mark. So we'll put them right here for right now. I don't see them going past 87 wins this season. And then to wrap up the AL Central, have the Kansas City Royals, who I feel like have a pretty good roster. They do need some help from these young players that are coming up. Carter Jensen and Jack Caglione kind of got a taste of the majors last season, but if they can come up and be solid hitters and then join Bobby Witt, Vinny P, and then Salvador Perez, I think this lineup has the potential to be pretty dang good. Another pitcher, Cole Reagans, who just needs to stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, he should be a great pitcher, great starter for them. Projected 3.39 ERA in 2026. So what they have last year, 82 wins. I can see them getting close to 87 wins. I don't think they fall under 80 either. Like the thing is, if I don't put Cleveland here in the 87 to 95, I don't think I can put Kansas City. So I'm just gonna stick Kansas City right there for right now. Alrighty, Los Angeles Angels. Let's see what they did. Okay, just recently traded for Josh Lowe. That's actually a good pickup for them. Solid hitter, and he should play every day in this lineup. This lineup's not that good. Still have Mike Trout, 34. I'm sure he'll get hurt this season at some point. Zach Neto played pretty well last year. He just needs to stay healthy too. Same with their first baseman, Nolan Shanwell. He looked pretty good. They have a couple promising players here in their starting lineup. Rotation looks a little gross. They did actually trade for Grayson Rodriguez from Baltimore, and he's had a bunch of injury issues, but if they can somehow figure him out, he was a top prospect. First round pick at some point, 2020 or 2018. So he was a solid top prospect and kind of fell off after the injury trouble. But overall, this team probably won't play that well. The Mariners, Astros, Athletics even are probably going to beat up on the Angels. Why can I not do that? Okay. Anyway. Yeah, I'm probably going to put the Angels down here. I don't know. Do they win 70 games? They won 72 last season. Didn't really make any moves to improve this roster at all. I think they should be able to get 70 wins though. Um, 70 wins is a low mark. All right, moving on to the Twins. Another just terrible roster. Really, Byron Buxton and Luke Keeschel are the only bright spots in this offense. If Buxton can stay healthy, we saw what he did last year. He was an all-star. Played crazy for them last season. And really the only reason was because he stayed healthy for almost a full season. If he stays healthy, he's an all-star type player. Luke Keeschel, young, fast, and hit for a good average last year. I don't know if that will continue, but there's definitely potential for that. And then their starting rotation isn't horrible. Got a bunch of guys with big upside. Joe Ryan has been pretty good for this team. Pablo Lopez also pitched pretty well. Same with Ober. And then a couple of young guys down here. Matthews, Bradley, Woods, Richardson. All good options. All good options for them to start. This team is going to struggle, though. This team's going to struggle. Unfortunately, I could see them selling at the deadline. I think the Twins are headed for probably 70 or less wins. I don't know why the Angels went down there. I'm going to go put the Angels. I think the Angels get to 70 wins. Not close to 80, but right on the fringe. And then Twins I have to put in 70 or less. They're a complete disaster. Alrighty. One of the dominant teams in the American League here. The Yankees. Brought back Cody Bellinger and then pretty much didn't change anything else. Like literally nothing else. Let's see what they didn't. They really didn't make any moves this they really didn't make any moves this offseason. So pretty much the exact same team. But I could see them getting back to 90 wins. Like Judge, Bellinger, Ben Rice, Jazz, stud hitters. So they're going to score a bunch of runs. Their pitching should be good enough. I think this is a team we're going to have to put in the 87 and 95. They're not going to win 95 games, I don't think. If anything, I think they regress a little bit from the 94, but they should still be right around 90 wins. Seattle is a team that could push for 95 wins. 190 last season. Just traded for Brendan Donovan. Cal Raleigh was incredible last year. Julio is Julio. Randy. Let's see if they made any other moves. I don't really think they brought in anyone else. Their pitching is just insane. 3 pitchers with a projected ERA in the 3s. If Gilbert and Kirby can stay healthy, same with Brian Wu had a great season last year, but if Gilbert and Kirby can stay healthy, this pitching staff is elite. So they're definitely going to go. Yeah, they're going to have to go in the 87 to 95 wins. They should get there. They should get there pretty easily. Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay actually did a lot in the offseason. Traded for Gavin Lux. So he's going to be in the lineup probably every day. Signed Cedric Mullins. I'm assuming claimed Jake Fraley. Interesting. Signed Steven Matz from free agency. Didn't really do much, though. They are getting Shane McClanahan back, so that will be nice for them. But this team just doesn't really have it. They just don't really have it to beat teams like the Yankees and Blue Jays, even the Red Sox. 77 wins last year. I can see, yeah, they'll probably be right back in this tier, this 70 to 80 win mark. I don't buy Shane McClanahan staying healthy. If he does, that'll be a great boost to their rotation. But he's had already two Tommy Johns. Alrighty, going over to Texas. All right, so they made a trade for Brandon Nimmo, signed Danny Jansen in the offseason, and they did trade for Mackenzie Gore, which I actually think is a really good signing for Texas. Got Mackenzie Gore out of that horrible pitching environment in Washington with just a terrible team context into a team that actually can score some runs. So I actually do like the swap Brandon Nimmo from New York for Marcus Semien. I do like that. And they still have a couple guys who can hit in this lineup. Corey Seager, when he's healthy, Wyatt Langford. I'm at least hoping for a bounce back from Wyatt Langford in 2026. He kind of had a down season last year. They did still get 81 wins. I hope this isn't projections. Let me see if I can. Let me look and see. Okay, no, this was okay. Thank God. Yeah, so this was from last year. But I don't see them really improving. If anything, probably just throw them in the 70 to 80 wins. I don't think they really improved that much, and I don't know if they can get to 80 wins, to be honest. All right, last AL team, and it's going to be one of the best teams. The Blue Jays are going to be tough to beat. As far as their lineup, they didn't really do much. Santander was not healthy last year. He needs to stay healthy. They did also sign someone from Japan, Akamoto. I'm assuming he's going to play third base, and I guess he was pretty good in the Japanese league. So we'll see how that compares to the majors, but didn't really do much. They did lose Bo Bichette. I don't think that will affect them too much, but still a great lineup here. And pitching, they actually did add Dylan Cease. Signed Dylan Cease in free agency, and also Tyler Rogers in free agency for the bullpen. Jeff Hoffman pitched pretty well out of the bullpen for them too. So this lineup and starting pitching rotation looks pretty good. I think they get 87 to 95 wins in 2026. All right, Arizona. Let's see, 80 wins last year. Traded for Nolan Arenado. Also just recently signed Carlos Santana. Brought in Merrill Kelly. Pitching rotation's looking a little bit weak. But lineup should be pretty good. Corbin Carroll is going to be great. Ketel Marte is going to be great. Also, Perdomo is going to be good too. As far as wins for them, I feel like 80 to 87, I feel like is a good mark for them. I think they should be over the 80 win total. All right, moving on to the Atlanta Braves. Braves had a horrible season last year. Bunch of injuries. Didn't do too much in the offseason. Signed Mike Yastrzemski. Yeah, really didn't do much. They're getting Spencer Strider back, which is nice. Also, Spencer Schwellenbach, too. So those two are going to be good pieces in the bullpen for sure. Or not the bullpen, in the rotation. Geez. So it's good to have those two back. I think they're going to be better than 76 wins this year. I think they should get to at least 80. I want to say they're here. I'm going to put them in the 80 to 87 wins. I think they will have a bounce back season. The Cubs. 92 wins last year. Honestly, just a great roster. Brought in Alex Bregman to bolster the offense. They did lose Kyle Tucker, though, so that's going to hurt a little bit. Traded for Edward Cabrera. They will also have Justin Steele coming back for the rotation, too, so that will help down the stretch. The Cubs get back to at least 87 wins in 2026 for sure. All right, Cincinnati, 83 wins last year. They brought in Eugenio Suarez, also J.J. Bleday. Suarez is a big addition to this lineup. Should bat 3 or 4, right around Ellie. Pitching staff remain the same, but I actually think Suarez is a big addition to this offense. They should get back to around where they were last year. 83 wins sounds about right. 85 wins. So I think I'll put them right here in this tier right here. Colorado Rockies. Okay, did a couple things, small things in the offseason. Brought in Willie Castro, traded for Jake McCarthy and Edouard Julien. And then also signed Michael Lorenzen in free agency. Bunch of signings that really don't matter. This team's going to flat out struggle. There's really not much to say. They're going to lose a lot of games. They will not win 70 games. There's no chance. All right. Now we get to the Dodgers. Didn't do anything but sign Kyle Tucker in the offseason, which just adds another stud hitter all-star to their lineup. Pitching rotation will remain the same. They're going to have an elite pitching rotation. And then also brought in Edwin Diaz, pretty much the best closer in baseball. So this team is set up for massive success in 2026. They might be the only team that I think can win 95 or more games. This team's really good. Really, really good. Just need to stay healthy, honestly. All right, Marlins won 79 games last year. They actually are like sneaky good. They got a lot of young talent. Marcy, Edwards, Stowers, Agustin Ramirez too. They also did trade for Owen Casey from the Cubs in the offseason. He's still really young, only 23. So there's, a lot of potential there with Casey. And then pitching rotation also has some potential. Alcantara pitched okay last year. Yuri Perez, kind of a question mark, but was a top prospect. And then same with a couple of these guys, just don't really know what to expect. They should be okay. In the bullpen, they did sign Pete Fairbanks, who pitched really well last year for Tampa Bay. So that's a good addition for the Marlins bullpen. I see them getting back to 79, probably 80. I'm going to put the Marlins in the 80 to 87 wins. I think they could have actually a good, solid season. Brewers won 97 games last year. Really good roster. Really good lineup. Churio, I think, only will get better with time. Still only 21, which is incredible. Bryce Terang put together an incredible season, too. They didn't really need to do much to improve this roster. And they didn't really do much, honestly. Pretty much everyone's staying the same. I think they get back to close to 97 wins. Probably 95-ish wins. It's hard to get over that mark, honestly. But they probably are in the top tier. So I'm going to put them there. I think they do get close to 95 wins. All right, the Mets won 83 games last year, and they did a lot in the offseason. They signed Bo Bichette, signed Jorge Polanco. So Bichette will play third, Polanco will play first. Traded for Marcus Semien, and then also traded for Luis Robert. So this lineup is basically half the lineup is brand new. And adding that to Lindor, Soto, they did lose Alonso, but I think these free agent signings and trades made up for that loss. They also traded for Freddie Peralta too. So this team, and then signed a bunch of guys actually in the bullpen. Devin Williams to be their closer, Luke Weaver. Did lose Edwin Diaz, but they did enough in free agency probably to get them back to close to 85-ish wins. I think they'll be right in this tier. 80 to 87 wins. All right, Philly won 96 games last year. Brought in Adolis Garcia in free agency. Other than that, didn't really do much. I think Justin Crawford's going to come up and play center field. Bunch of speed. He should steal a bunch of bases. But this lineup's basically the same as it was last year. They did lose Ranger Suarez to free agency and didn't really bring anyone in to replace him. They signed Brad Keller in free agency, who will pitch out of the bullpen. And I'm not really sure the timetable for Zach Wheeler. I don't know if anyone really does. I think they should get back to 87 to 95 wins this season. I don't think they can push for 96 wins again, though. All right, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh won 71 last season and actually made some moves. They traded for Brandon Lau from Tampa Bay, signed Ryan O'Hearn in free agency, which are two upgrades to this lineup. This lineup's not that great, and that's going to help them out a lot. Obviously, Paul Skeens, Mitch Keller. This rotation is going to be pretty good. Bubba Chandler. And then Jared Jones will also be coming back from injury too. So this lineup is definitely on the up. I think 70 wins is probably the baseline. But I don't see them getting past 80. So I'm gonna stick them right in this 70 to 80 range. Okay, the Padres won 90 and 72 last year. Let's see what they did. Didn't really bring anyone in via free agency that I can see. They did trade for Mason Miller. That was last season. Pitching rotation's pretty much the same. Joe Musgrove will be coming back, so that's a good piece to add to their rotation. But the top of this order is great. Tatis, Merrill, Machado, even Lorenzo here. Or Laureano, excuse me. Those are four pretty good hitters. I think they get back somewhere close to 90 wins. I'll probably put them in this range here. Okay, moving on to San Francisco Giants. Let's see. They brought in Harrison Bader. Also, just recently brought in Luis Ariz in free agency as well. And that adds to an already pretty good lineup. Devers, Adames, Chapman. Brought in 2 starters as well. Tyler Mahle, Adrian Hauser. Kind of middling pitchers, but Logan Webb was dominant last year. Should be pretty good again this season. And this team should be pretty good. I think they will probably sit somewhere in this 80 to 87 wins like they did last year. All right, wrapping it up with the Cardinals and the Nationals. Cardinals kind of sold off in the offseason. This is definitely a rebuilding squad. J.J. Witherholt is probably going to come up and play second or short for them. But this is a pretty young, you can see it's a pretty young lineup. Pretty young pitching rotation as well. So I definitely expect this team to be probably in the 70 to 80 win mark, but I could see them maybe falling to 70 or less. I'll stick them in the 70 to 80 wins for now. The Nationals. Nationals did not do anything as far as their lineup goes. James Wood, C.J. Abrams, Dylan Cruz, all still there. Pitching rotation's pretty rough. This team's going to struggle. Yeah, this team's going to really struggle. They'll probably lose, or they'll probably win 70 or less games in 2026. So here's how we finished. And this is pre-spring training. A lot can change in spring training as well. So I would expect it to change. Probably some injuries. There's also still a couple more signings to happen as well. So all that'll take place, over the next couple weeks, couple months. I am gonna go through each position, and I did start creating rankings for every position, so that'll be coming out soon. I'm super excited to release those and put those out here on YouTube. So be sure to look out for those. They'll be coming sometime soon. Anyways, baseball's around the corner. Hoping that it's here soon enough. So I'll see you at some point with probably catcher. We'll start with catcher rankings for the 2026 fantasy baseball season.